Okay, this video then is going to be about using the portfolio, using the project, giving feedback, and for any of the teachers last term that either didn't like the sharing system or it didn't work for you, a different way to do it that might be simpler. Okay, if you're a new teacher and you haven't heard about the sharing system, just forget it for now. Somebody hopefully will explain it, or give this system a try and it might make perfect sense to you. Teachers that have been here a while, again, I may explain some things for the new teachers that you already know. Just tune them out, okay? Well, don't tune them out, but just accept you already know this. So the basic premise of the portfolio process, the student produces some piece of work based on what you taught them. You look at it, you give some feedback. Inshallah, the student reacts to the feedback, edits their work. They submit it to you again, you check it again. Okay, it looks good. Okay, it still looks bad. Okay. And then when the work's finished, they submit to the portfolio, and alas, the process will repeat in Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. This can also be used for GEC 5000, but there's a separate video for you guys on that. So, step 1, you set a piece of work for your students. I don't need to explain this, okay? You know what you've taught, you know what task, what work, what production reflects your teaching. So, okay, step 1, halas, done. Step 2, the student submits that work for feedback. That's where different teachers are having different systems. Some people are doing it on WhatsApp, which I think is a little bit frowned upon. Some are doing it by email. Some are putting it in the portfolio, sharing the portfolio. Okay. What I'm going to try and show you now, I hope, is going to be a simple way. I think the most basic way for you. Okay. So we've set our piece of work. My piece of work here is, please submit your conclusion for an essay they wrote in the past. I've made what Blackboard calls an assignment, what some of you call a Dropbox. I use the term assignment because I like Blackboard. From the student perspective, you've set the work, they've done the work, they're just going to click here and they're going to submit the work. Imagine I'm the student now. So they're going to submit the Word file. Easy this way. Doesn't need to be a screenshot, doesn't need to be a PDF, doesn't need to be anything other than a Word document, a PowerPoint document. Then I press submit, and the student's work will take a little bit of time. Okay, the Word document is here. Excellent, fantastic. Now, from a teacher's perspective, okay, you've set your work, your students have submitted the work. That means we have gone through step 1, the student submits. We're looking at step 2, the teacher gives feedback. If I go down to needs grading, I can see this conclusion has been sent to me. I will open it, and then I have the student's conclusion, in which I can now edit. I can now give feedback. In conclusion, the survey report shows that city life has more advantages than disadvantages. Okay, maybe don't use the pen feature, but I could also use the text feature. I think there's a highlight feature. Okay, that's underline, eraser, let's clear that. Okay, let me just play with it. Okay, so I played with it a little bit. And now I've figured out I can select this. I can underline this because I don't like it. Living is a countryside is time consuming. I might want to underline things. I might also want to add some comments. So if I highlight this, it's not the best pedagogical comment to just correct them without guiding them, but you can now give your feedback here, okay? If you need to, please edit and resubmit. Maybe I'm going to give them a grade of, like, say 6. I'll submit. This way of giving feedback, I think, is probably easier than the sharing option. Okay, it's a little bit more formal. The student will resubmit this, of course, and then when they resubmit it, so imagine hypothetical now. The student submitted. I gave this feedback. The student edited, inshallah, then they resubmitted. What I've been trying to do with my students is, when the work's finished, I give it a big approved stamp. If they have the approved stamp, okay, now go put the work in your portfolio, and you can be confident that what they're putting in the portfolio is of a good quality because you've done the feedback. So they produced the work, you gave the feedback, they edited, they gave it again, and you gave some more feedback, and now halas, it's finished. They put it in their portfolio. This way you're kind of guaranteeing that the work they put in the portfolio is finished. Whereas before, they were putting their work in the portfolio, then we were saying, oh no, I don't like this, change this, and then they were taking it out of their portfolio, and then they were putting it back in their portfolio, and the sharing system was hectic. This way, the only work they put in the portfolio is finished, approved, fully developed work. Maybe you do this in week 1. They submit a piece of work, you approve it. Maybe in week 2, they submit a piece of work, you approve it. Maybe in week 3, they submit a piece of work, you approve it. Maybe in week 4, then you check their portfolio. You make sure everything is inside, you make sure nothing's missing, you make sure they haven't done anything crazy like put the wrong file. I think this is maybe an easier way to manage the process. If not, continue with whatever system helps you. But ultimately, if they only put fully edited work in the portfolio, life will be easier. Check the portfolio maybe in 5 weeks, maybe at the midterm, maybe in week 9, so that when they get to the end of term, you don't have that mad chaos of trying to check everything and make sure it's okay, because you've checked the work regularly and you've checked the portfolio periodically. Anyway, halas, 10 minutes is enough. The only thing I forgot to explain is how to make the assignment. And that's super easy. Go to assessment, go to assignment, Call it whatever you want. Submit your paragraph, submit your essay, submit your PowerPoint, submit your document. Please submit blah 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 by this day. Yeah, I need the instructions. Ignore my Arabic, I've been in class too long. Submission details, you want individual submission. Number of attempts, multiple or unlimited, okay? If you click single, they can't submit it more than once, so you're going to have that problem. Make sure you tick one of these. If you tick multiple, you can choose. The grading and the plagiarism tools are not particularly important. You do have to give it a point score. I use 10 as an arbitrary point score. This grade doesn't go anywhere. This grade is not linked to the rubric. This grade is based on 10 out of 10 means they've done everything I've asked and the work is excellent. 5 out of 10 means meh, you know. You could make a rubric, but that is a step extra. Grading options, don't touch anything. Display of grades, no need to touch anything. All of these, no need to touch. Submit, and now the student will have the assignment for 10 points. Browse local files, they add the Word document, and the process begins. After they submit, you check needs grading, you open the project, whichever one it is. Ignore this stuff that I haven't marked from last year. And that's the way it works. Questions? You guys all know my email. If not, ask one of your co-workers. I'm sure they have it somewhere.